everyone, and welcome back to Faith and Flour. I'm Robin. Before we get started on today's video, I thought I'd fill you in on a couple of things. Peyton and I are just returning from our trip to North Carolina, and amongst other things while I was there, I got a pretty major haircut. If you follow me over on Instagram, you might have seen my post, but otherwise, I thought I'd surprise you today with my new look. I've been contemplating this change for quite a while, and I'm going to give you a lot more detail in an upcoming video on my gray hair transition, so be on the lookout for that. Beth has been my hairdresser in North Carolina for a long time, and so I totally trusted her to make this big change. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I just want to thank all of you who left such sweet comments over on Instagram. The first day we were at home, my top priority was unpacking and, of course, laundry. I had a washer and dryer that I could use at my parents' house, and I did do some, but I didn't want to spend my time with them doing laundry when I could just pack it up and deal with it when I got back home. I also had some of Patrick's laundry to do because he was at home for 2 weeks by himself. I always like to unpack everything and store away all of the suitcases and things like that, usually on the first full day when we're home, so that I don't have those things sitting around waiting for me to do later. I get the laundry going, and any clean clothes I hang back up or fold and put away. The next day I did some grocery restocking, and I'm showing you this milk because I plan to make some cold start yogurt or no boil yogurt. I'm going to show you that a little bit later in the video, and this is the kind of milk that I've been using for that. So I unpack all of the cold things first and make sure that they get put away in the refrigerator and the freezer, and I can leave the other things out on the counter to put away in the pantry. I always buy the UHT, the ultra pasteurized milk, so we can stock up and I don't have to worry about it going bad. Plus it has a really nice creamy consistency, and I have found a brand of filtered milk that is also ultra pasteurized that I can drink because I'm lactose intolerant, and it's really great for making the yogurt that I'm going to show you. Also, the boys like to have some sodas on hand, especially in the summertime. We usually just save those for weekends, so I stocked up on those. And I love these LaCroix sparkling waters in different flavors, so they had a special at the store this week, and I stocked up on those too. And when I go to make my yogurt, I've got a little bit of yogurt left over from my last batch that I am going to use to inoculate the yogurt, and I'll explain all of that a little bit later. I got all of our clothes washed yesterday, so today I'm going to be tackling all of the sheets and towels. Kyle has gone back to university, so I'm going to strip his bed and wash his sheets and towels along with Peyton's, Patrick's, and mine, and that way we will have a clean start with all of the laundry for the week. Once the first load of laundry was going, I came back in the kitchen to finish unloading the groceries. These are just some non-perishable items that I wanted to restock our pantry with. Patrick and I had already gone to the store on the first day we were home to get all of the produce and things like that. Once everything's put away, I'm just using some of the 7th generation disinfecting wipes to clean the counter. I made a batch of English muffins from my sourdough starter. So now that they're cool, I'm going to put them away, and then I have a few other things that I plan to make today. I have been loving making yogurt in my Instant Pot, and a while back I discovered a new way to make it that is so easy and so foolproof. You will need a half a gallon of filtered, ultra-pasteurized whole milk. Ultra-pasteurized is really important. Then 7 ounces or a half a can of sweetened condensed milk, and then 2 to 3 ounces of plain unsweetened yogurt. Select the yogurt setting on your Instant Pot and then program the amount of time that you want to incubate your yogurt. I like 18 hours because I like my yogurt on the tart side. It is safe to do it between 8 and 24 hours depending on your own personal taste. A fresh carton of ultra-pasteurized milk is essential for this recipe. Because we're not boiling the yogurt, we want to make sure that the milk is completely sterile, and that is assured when you use the ultra-pasteurized milk. Filtered milk has become widely available at most grocery stores. Fairlife is a popular brand, and this is one that I found from my local grocery store. In the filtration process, it concentrates the protein, so there is a lot more protein in this milk, making your yogurt a lot thicker and creamier. The lactose is removed and 50% of the sugar. That is also why adding the sweetened condensed milk is important. It helps the yogurt thicken up because it gives the bacteria some sugar to eat in that inoculation process. It creates the thicker, creamier texture of the yogurt, and it only adds a little bit of sweetness when you use about a half a can, which is about half of what most of the recipes that I have seen used, but I find that it's just enough to give the yogurt the texture that I want, and it only leaves the yogurt very slightly sweetened. After adding the sweetened condensed milk, you'll just want to add about 2 to 3 ounces of yogurt. I have some from a previous batch that I made that I can use, and this is just like your starter for your yogurt. Originally, I used a yogurt starter from Cultures of Health that I found on Amazon. If you're interested, I'll have it in my Amazon store in the cooking section, and you can find the link for my Amazon store in the description box. Otherwise, you can use some store-bought Greek yogurt that doesn't have any added sugar or flavors, and usually that will work very well. Once you have these 3 ingredients in your Instant Pot insert, you can use a whisk to make sure everything is combined really well. Then cover the yogurt while it is incubating for the amount of time that you selected. I have a lid that I purchased on Amazon, and again, I have it in my Amazon store that I like to use for this. You can use the original lid, just make sure that you remove the silicone ring. The silicone can harbor odors from previous cooking that will infuse into your yogurt, and you don't want that. When your Instant Pot is on the yogurt setting, the counter will count up. So you can see mine is at 3 minutes, and it will continue to count up until it reaches the 18 hours that I set it for. And once it reaches that, you're ready to go on to the next step. I like to save the sweetened condensed milk that's left over in a glass jar with a lid in my refrigerator. It will keep there for several weeks until I'm ready to make yogurt again. If I think I need to keep it longer than that, it freezes beautifully, so I'll just pop it in the freezer. Next day, or when your incubation period is complete, you can remove the insert from your Instant Pot and take it directly to the refrigerator. I'll show you a little bit what the yogurt looks like to show you its really nice thick consistency. You don't want to stir it too much at this point because you don't want to break up the proteins until they've had time to cool down, because that will result in a thinner yogurt. So see here how thick and creamy it is. I'm not going to disturb it too much, just put it in the refrigerator, and I will show you what it's like after a few hours and it's had a chance to cool down. I just take a whisk at this point, and you can see it's incredibly thick. I don't have to strain it at all like you do with normal Greek yogurt. This whole process is such a time saver, and the consistency is really consistent as well. I know when I boil the yogurt sometimes, if you boil it a little too long or get it a little too hot, the consistency isn't always perfect, but this comes out perfect every time, and as you can see, it is just as easy as can be. I like to transfer the yogurt to 2 quart-sized mason jars with plastic lids to store in the refrigerator. Because I'm lactose intolerant, I have avoided yogurt for a very long time, and I am enjoying it so much now that I've found a way to make such a delicious, creamy, velvety, great tasting yogurt. It's just very slightly sweet from the condensed milk and perfect with all sorts of toppings. I've been enjoying this so much, and it really couldn't be easier to make. Let me know down in the comments if you make yogurt this way or if you're going to give it a try. I hope you will because I love it so much. And make sure that you save some of your yogurt to use as starter when you're ready to make your next batch. I've got 2 more recipes to show you, and this one for a gluten-free quiche will be down in the description box if you want all of the details. But basically, I start off with a crust from Trader Joe's. They make the most delicious gluten-free crusts. However, they are only available seasonally starting around Thanksgiving, and then when Christmas is over, they're gone. So if you like them as much as we do, make sure that you stock up. The filling for my quiche is just the classic combination of milk, eggs, a little bit of salt, pepper, and then whole grated nutmeg. Grating it fresh makes a huge difference in the recipe, so don't skip that step. I whisk everything together and then set this mixture aside while I saute some onions and just a little bit of olive oil or butter. Once the onions have started to caramelize, I will put them right on the bottom of the pie shell. I don't pre-bake the pie shell. It comes out great this way and saves me an extra step. On top of the onions, I either grate some Gruyere cheese or I use this combination of Emmentaler and Gruyere that I get from Trader Joe's that's already pre-shredded. I actually have more here than I would normally add, and as you can see when I put the filling on, it caused things to overflow. But that's why I have the pie dish on top of a baking sheet that's lined with tin foil, because I tend to do that fairly often, especially when I'm trying to transfer it to the oven, so this way it's not an issue when I make a mess. As you can see, I did slosh some of the filling over the side, but the foil caught it, so it's not going to be a problem. I could avoid this by pouring the filling on when it's sitting here on the rack. I have had that suggested, but for some reason I never think to do it. And then it just bakes in the oven for about 45 minutes at 325 degrees. So while it's baking, that frees me up to do a lot of other things. And today I'm going to make some gluten-free blueberry muffins. This recipe comes from the Gluten-Free Baking Classics Cookbook by Annalise G. Roberts. I love this cookbook. It has some amazing recipes that are gluten-free, and if you're into baking, I know you're gonna love it too. It's a copyrighted recipe, so I'm not going to have it in the description box, but this cookbook is in the gluten-free section of my Amazon store, and you can find the link for my Amazon store in the description box below. When the quiche is ready, I like to let it sit on top of the stove for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It makes it much easier to cut and serve. And while the oven is still hot, I'm going to pop in the muffins, and they are going to make a great dessert and breakfast. I served our quiche with a cucumber salad. That was just a sliced cucumber along with some vinaigrette dressing that I tossed together. This is a light and easy dinner to make. It's great for the summertime, but we really enjoy quiche all year round. Quiche is a recipe in my repertoire that is a family favorite. I usually have all of the ingredients on hand, so when I'm short on time, I can throw this together really quickly, and then while it's baking in the oven, I'm free to do any number of things. After dinner, the muffins were ready and the kitchen smells amazing. While they're cooling, I'm going to clean up. Someone tried to sneak some muffins while they were cooling. As you can see, they don't last long around here. After the kitchen was clean, I couldn't resist the muffins either, and I had to try them. They are amazing, and you would never know that they are gluten-free. Before calling it a day, I wanted to return all of the clean towels to the bathrooms and to make up Kyle's bed so that it will be ready for him when he comes back from college. hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. I hope that it gave you lots of cooking and cleaning motivation, some everyday homemaking inspiration, and if you're new here, I want to invite you to subscribe. It's easy, free, and if you activate the bell icon, you'll get a notification every time I upload a new video so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the comments and in the next video. Have a great week.